Hello there. I've been talking about the paramitas of the Bodhisattva, and it's the natural behavior, the way that somebody behaves when they are so developed, so spiritually developed, that actually they can only think about the enlightenment of all living beings, not just selfish enlightenment, you could say. So these six paramitas have their parallel in the precepts that we practice. Um, and they are, yes, these kind of ethical guidelines, but actually the Bodhisattva is way beyond needing any ethical guidelines because it's the way that the Bodhisattva behaves quite naturally. So I've talked about four of them. So the first one was generosity or dana. The second one, ethics or shila. The third was patience or kshanti. And the fourth was diligence or virya. And the fifth one is samadhi. That is meditation proper, we could say. So I'm going to say a little bit about meditation, and I'm not going to talk about the formless dhyanas, which you can look up for yourself, because they are not really very common in everyday experience. And really, to experience meditation fully, when we have learnt to meditate, we need to be going on some retreats so that we allow time and space for us to delve into our awareness more deeply. So, when we meditate, what exactly are we working with in order to harness our energy and help us be more concentrated and focused? Well, as we know, one thing we can do is to look for or watch out for or notice what are called the hindrances in our experience. So they are hindrances to us becoming more concentrated, more focused. And there are two pairs and then a fifth one. So the two pairs, the first one is ill will and craving or sensual desire. So you can see that these are kind of opposite poles of a spectrum. Craving on the one hand and aversion or pushing away on the other. And then the other polarity, you could say, is an energetic one. So that is sloth and torpor and restlessness and anxiety, or restlessness and worry. So yes, these are states of mind that are common in our everyday life. And we're becoming, in meditation, more familiar with them by finding more and more subtle instances of those. For example, with restlessness and worry, it might just be something quite subtle, like we can't quite keep still. We think we're going to find a better way of sitting. So we shift about on our seat. And perhaps we could, when we notice that, we think, oh, maybe I could just try sitting still. Maybe I could just be still. So it's almost like an ingrained habit to always seek something a bit more pleasurable. So it's a kind of restlessness there. And, well, obviously examples of ill will. Those too can be subtle. It could be something like, why didn't somebody close that window? I've got a draft in my neck. Or that person next to me is fidgeting. I wish they'd stop. It might not be very gross, but actually recognizing it as ill will is just very useful, because we can see the habits of our mind. And with craving, maybe we are hoping the meditation ends soon. When are they going to ring the bell? Because I want a cup of tea. Well, there you could probably see ill will and craving all at the same time. And the fifth one, so we've got craving and aversion or ill will, and we've got restlessness and sloth and torpor. That is when we're falling asleep, we're dull, maybe we're bored, maybe we can't be bothered. And the fifth one is doubt. And in a way, doubt underlies all the others. It's a kind of indecision and lack of clarity about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So, yeah, it's always good to look out for doubt in our experience. Is it doubt that we can meditate? Doubt in what the teacher's saying? Doubt in our ability to meditate because everyone else seems to be having a better time than we are. It can appear in all sorts of ways. So those are elements that we look for in our experience so that we become aware of what's obstructing us from just relaxing more deeply into the meditation. So in order to become more absorbed, we don't only look for what is there that may be obstructing us, but also what's there that's going to be helpful to the meditation and that's actually going to lead to a state of absorption. So once again, there are 5 things that we can look out for. I think lists are always very helpful because we can check on them, can't we? So these 5 are initial thought, sustained thought, rapture, a sort of deep happiness, deep joy, and one-pointedness. So just to say a bit about those. So with initial thought, well, what we're wanting when we meditate, look, thoughts are going to be there. Let's face it, we are thinking beings and they're not just going to disappear. They do quieten down and they can of their own stop when we are deeply, deeply relaxed and spacious. But that doesn't happen a lot of the time, perhaps. So initial thought, it's great if we can orientate our thoughts around the meditation. So sometimes if I'm very distracted, I might give myself a running commentary of what my experience is currently. So, I might say to myself, okay, where is the breath in my body now? What does it feel like? Is it gentle? Is it rough? Do I feel like I'm controlling the breath? Am I letting go of all of the breath? Am I holding some back? Does my breath feel like it's in my chest or in my belly? So these are thoughts that are actually about the meditation and are going to help me to engage more deeply with it. And then sustained thought is an extension of that. It's like, yes, now I'm kind of riding the breath, I'm with the breath, and I have got a sustained attention with what I'm doing. So I'm it's like being wholeheartedly with what's going on. And once that happens, in a way, you just have to keep doing that in order for an experience of strong pleasure to come up. And that will be pleasure in the body. Sometimes you can feel kind of fountains of energy within your body, and also pleasure in the mind. The mind becomes still and soft and malleable and open, and it's a very pleasant experience. And all that comes together sometimes in the 4th stage of the mindfulness of breathing, with a sense of one-pointedness. So we're asked to bring our attention to the very fine sensation of air entering on our nostrils. Well, it's usually one nostril, because both nostrils, they're not usually equally sensitive. So wherever we're looking for that point where we first notice that cool air being breathed in, and then we kind of guard that place we keep our attention then noticing the changes in sensation. So that's a sense of one-pointedness. And that then includes all those five. So like, our mind may start to wander off, but here we are, we know what we are wanting to keep our attention with, and that in itself is pleasurable, and the pleasure builds. So, we've got these 5 factors of dhyana, and dhyana is a word that we associate with deeper levels of meditation. So these are the 5 factors, and we notice the 5 hindrances, usually at the beginning of meditation, to just notice what we're dealing with. What are we working with? So we notice what's stopping us from getting more concentrated and what's helping us get more concentrated. So that's a bit about how to engage with meditation. See you again.